Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Bharata First. I'm Pereira, and this is Toppers Talk. Since you're here, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and don't forget to share the content as well so that more people get to know about Bharata First. For the last few days, I've been talking to UPSC CSE 2021 toppers, met some bright young minds and some achievers as well. Today, we will meet one more such achiever, Yasharth Shekhar, who secured rank 12 at the UPSC CSE 2021.
Cracking UPSC CSE is like running a marathon. To get across the line, you need the right guide and training partner. Look no further than Bharata First Knowledge Center, your one-stop destination for all your competitive exams needs. Classes by the best names and subject matter experts in the field. Courses designed to address all aspects of the challenges at hand. Highly affordable courses priced at less than 150 rupees. Register now at kc.bharatafirst.com or download the Bharata First app now. Avail discounts of over 90%. Happy learning.
And firstly, Yasharth, I must congratulate you for this outstanding feat. It's not an easy task at all. It's one of the toughest examinations in the world, definitely the toughest examination in India. And you managed to come up trumps as far as this examination is concerned. I'm so very proud of you. I'm happy. And we were having a discussion earlier as well about how I've played some kind of a role. You watched my programs and, followed Bharata First and everything else as well. So I'm feeling happy and so much more proud about that fact as well, that I could play a small role in you achieving what you've achieved. It's amazing. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you. What does it feel like?
So, first of all, I'd like to thank you for congratulating me. And I'd like to thank Bharata First and you for your for so many shows like The Big Picture that you do and other shows that you do. I used to watch them during my preparation. So what it feels like is that it hasn't really sunk in yet. So I'm still finding it difficult to believe sometimes that I've been able to, get out of this entire thing and to be able to. I was just wishing that I could get a rank which will give me a service of my preference, but to get a good rank, just I thank God. I can't thank God enough, and I'm very happy. My parents are happy, my friends are happy, my sister is happy, so I'm very happy.
Yasharth, speaking to you for in just the 30 seconds that we conversed right now, I will stick my neck on the line and say that you will be one of the best officers that this country has ever produced, and you will do us all proud, and you will do a wonderful service to the public. And you know why I'm saying that? Because the level of humility that I see in you is something that comes by very rarely, especially once aspirants, get into the top 50, once they clear the examinations, there's a sense of overachievement, there's a sense of headweight that comes in as well. And that's something that I don't see in you at all. It is so wonderful to see such a humble young man sitting in front of me, and I know that you'll do a wonderful service to the nation, and this country needs people like you. Now, that having been said, Yasharth, I must ask you also, because this brings about a lot of responsibility as well. And as far as responsibilities are concerned, I'm not going to ask you to, choose and have preferences. But as far as you are concerned, what is that one thing that is close to your heart and top of the agenda for you that you feel that you need to work on?
So I think right now the most important challenge that comes to my mind happens to be of female empowerment. Basically, in terms of female education, I think it's one important issue. I think a second would be climate change, because that is a very serious issue, and our Prime Minister has taken a very serious view of that. So thirdly, it would be something to do with being facilitator for the infrastructure development of the country. In tier 1 and tier 2 cities, we may see some infrastructure, but in tier 3 cities, we don't have very good infrastructure. And given that my regional belongings to tier 3 cities, I would like to do something for such cities. But I think that every city has its own challenges, and every city, no two cities have similar challenges. So once I go to a city, I'll talk to the people and come to know about their challenges so that I can address them better.
Absolutely. That comes at a later stage. You will get your training to do that as well. You'll get to connect with the grassroots level people. You'll have all of that, and the job will take you through that. But it's wonderful. It's a wonderful start. Female empowerment, environment. These are all real issues of today that this country is facing and this world is facing as well. And it's good to know that they are on top of your priority list. Yasharth, let's talk about a few other aspects. Third attempt, you made it to the interview in your second attempt as well. And the third attempt, you made it all the way through to rank number 12, finishing in the top 15. It's amazing. What was the journey like? Take us through that.
So the journey has been a journey, I would say, of failures and learning from them. In the very first attempt, I did not do many tests and I was not able to clear prelims. So I realized there I made a fault. In the second attempt, I cleared prelims by a very good margin, but I did not write enough mains test. So I learned from there. And then the third attempt, I did everything. I corrected my mistakes, but I did in the first and the second attempt. And this time I wrote many tests. And I was able to score good marks and be able to secure a good rank. But I would say, sir, the journey has been full of ups and downs. I think up only comes when you get selected for the service, but there are more downs. And I think what this has taught me is that you don't have to lose all your hope. Just 7-8 months back, when on 24th September the results were announced for CSE 2020, and I did not find my name on the list, I felt so dejected. And now within 7-8 months after working hard, I've been able to get into the service. So this feels like I think God has a plan for everyone. Maybe because of these failures, I was meant to learn something, and I think I would have learned something. I think the most important thing I've learned is never to lose hope, and not to feel dejected in spite of failures.
Wonderful. What did you do differently in your attempts, Yasharth? How was attempt one different from 2, and how was 2 different from 3?
Sir, I actually did not have a mentor in any of these attempts. So what I did is that in the first attempt, the mistakes I did, I corrected them in the second. In the second, what I did, I corrected in the third. But I think what I did differently in the third attempt is the fact that my preparation was a little more surgical. I had completely shut off the entire outside world. I was not at all concerned with the social commentary happening around me. I wrote many tests, especially mains. So I came to realize that answer writing becomes the most important part of UPSC. And I started. I in the first 2 attempts, I tried to hold on to a lot of things. So I was not able to keep up with a lot of things. And thirdly, I realized that reading newspaper is not just a 45 minutes exercise. It's a really lengthy thing, and I gave adequate amount to it. So I would say newspaper reading, writing as many tests as possible, correcting my second mistakes from my first 2 attempts, and basically letting loose of a few things to relax my mind, keeping my mind cool. I think these things worked in my favor in this attempt.
Since we're talking about newspapers, I must ask you this. There's this whole trend, really, as far as UPSC aspirants are concerned, to read the Hindu. And, they believe that the Hindu is like the Bible as far as UPSC CSE is concerned. But as far as newspapers go, did you also have that kind of an approach where you just read that one newspaper, try and get it as much? Or how important is it to try and get your sources right as far as current affairs is concerned? Because when your current affairs is up to date, you also have a backtracking of the issues, and the entire issue itself is understood, isn't it?
So in the second attempt, I did not read much of newspaper. I realized that I would be able to do everything from the compilation, and this was one of the biggest mistakes that I corrected in my this attempt. This attempt, sir, I read 2 newspapers, the Indian Express and Mint. I did not read Hindu because I found that Indian Express was a little more explanatory. So also certain sections like explain section and others, they really helped me in building up the concepts. And second newspaper, as I told you, the Mint I used to read because I thought I would be able to write better answers in economy. Sir, apart from that, I think, and I used to give, sir, dedicated 3 hours every day for reading newspapers. No, so whatever I was doing in one day, 3 hours were separated for a newspaper, and I was able to generate many examples. I was able, and because of this, I was able to score very good marks in general studies paper 1. I have 120, general studies paper 2. I have 119, because of writing examples that I collected from these newspapers. So once you are reading these newspapers on a stretch without missing a single newspaper for 3 months, you would be able to generate thousands of examples, and by using those thousands of examples, you will be able to complement your answers. I did not read Hindu because, first of all, I was reading Hindu, but then there were so many reasons. First of all, I thought that I was not
Absolutely.
getting the very pro-government point.
There's no need to get into that, as to what you're reading and what you're not reading. The whole idea of this question was more about, the importance of newspapers and understanding what is in there. Some people do not give it as much importance as you should. For instance, I've been a newspaper man all my life. I've read 5-6 newspapers on a daily basis for the last 15-20 years. And it probably shows in the way I carry out myself. I don't mean to be boasting, but the kind of knowledge that you get from newspapers is immense, and it is really something else. And interesting choice of newspapers, I must say. I think the Mint, hardly anyone really goes through the Mint, but the Mint, the analysis, the kind of information that you get out of the Mint is wonderful, and you can really get a holistic picture. And this is sometimes, not given due credit. So is your economic background, or your background in economics, one of the reasons why you chose something like the Mint?
So there were many reasons. At first, when I came across this newspaper, I think on a Telegram channel, I started reading. I realized, first of all, on the very first page there is a half-page section in which they will explain something. So every day you are learning something new. That's the best thing about Mint. And secondly, sir, the orientation of the government, the orientation of the Mint is very pro-government. So you are able to understand a lot of things in a very government manner. So thirdly, it has a section called long story in which they will explain everything. So if I can give you an example, this time in paper 1, general studies, there was a question on cryptocurrency, and they had taken an entire page. I think they would have written 2,500 words to explain cryptocurrency, the different types of cryptocurrency and its impact. That really helped me, and its editorial were very economic oriented, so it helped me understanding things from economics perspective. Also, there was a lot of data in that, and our general studies paper 2 had this entire section on economy, so this really helped me. Again, sir, if I can say one or two things, is that there is a perception among candidates that you will have to complete the newspaper within 45 minutes or 1 hour. I will suggest them that you have to give adequate time to newspaper. The amount of information that you are getting from a newspaper is too much, and it is not necessary that you have to mug everything up. Just read it continuously for 3 months. At the end of 3 months, if you're writing test, if you're using your newspapers well, you will realize that you know more than you know yourself. So I would say that these are some of the reasons why I took Mint.
Wonderful. And since we are here, I mean, let's talk about this as well. I haven't really spoken about it to many of the candidates or the toppers in the past, but the role of, you are talking about looking at certain articles, looking at certain information from the government's perspective as far as the Mint is concerned. This is where I'd like to bring in, Bharata First as well, and channels like Sunset TV. How important are they? Because if you look at the kind of guests that you get, it's very, retired secretaries, Government of India, or serving secretaries, ambassadors, and people who have given their life and dedicated their life to civil service and government service. So how important are shows like Big Picture, for instance?
So when I started watching Sunset TV, and I also started watching Bharata First, the best thing about these shows is a very pro-government orientation. It does not mean that we are not hearing points which may mean negative, but your orientation cannot be very anti-government. That's my personal view when you are reading or watching such shows. So for example, any debate on the big picture, you can watch it. It's not that you're not going to know points which are in the adverse of the issue that is being discussed, but at the same time, the orientation will be very will be of the kind that you need to answer a question in your newspaper. So for example, either your show on first, or your show where you discuss the security of India, or your show where you discuss the foreign policy of India, or the Sunset TV show where they discuss, I think Perspectives is the name of the show where they discuss different issues, or your shows on the big picture on the Rajya Sabha TV. So all these really help you build a conversation around which you can write so many issues. But these will have to be complemented with reading newspapers, your basic content, so that you're simply adding on to these things. But when you write your answers regularly, quote examples that you pick from these shows like Bharata, from these channels like Bharata First or Sunset TV, only then you be able to utilize them properly in your exam.
Absolutely. So, Yasharth, what was your optional subject, if I may ask? Was it economics?
Sir, geography this time, sir.
Geography,
No,
interesting.
sir. It was.
So what made you choose geography as an optional? Why that decision?
So there were many reasons. First of all, I've always loved geography. Indian geography has been a very important aspect of my life. Secondly, I love travel and tourism, and geography as a subject helped me explore a lot of that. So today I know a lot of places to visit now. Thirdly, I realized, since I was not hearing the social commentary around me, because I was not part of a peer group where people were discussing what options should be taken or not. So I was not at all concerned with the social commentary happening around me. So I chose geography because I thought it scores very high. But a lot of people were telling me that, okay, for the last few years, it has not been doing really well. So fourthly, if you look at my class 11, 12th, I've always loved to read different kind of subjects. So geography is another subject in that dimension. And I think I've done really well in geography. I've 56 in paper one and 115 in paper two. And I've been able to score 306 in geography, which really made my rank this time.
Wonderful. But was it difficult really to change the subject, to look at something new, to look at something different? How did you make that switch?
So So when I graduated from Stephens in 2018, I never really thought about what option to be taken. I just had this vague idea in my mind that geography is going to be my thing. So I never really cared about whether it is becoming easy, it is becoming difficult. I just had a task to complete. I had to complete the syllabus. I completed it. Okay, some topics were difficult, so I took a guide. So I took guidance. I joined a test series. I joined a coaching. And if something were to happen, if I found some topic very difficult, I would consult with the faculty. But this thought of this being difficult or easy, or should I change back to my economics, never really came back. The only point where I became a little skeptical about whether geography will help me or not was when I was not able to clear my was not able to find my name in the list last year. But my father and my mother, they told me that you've already done a lot. I'd scored 251 marks then. You just need to put in a little more effort, and little more effort surgically, and you will be able to get very good. So I listened to their advice, and I think their advice has worked wonders for me this time. So
So
I'm really
happy,
grateful to that advice.
so happy to hear that, and so happy to know that your parents have your backing, because that plays a big role. Because it's not just a single individual's journey. This is, you need a whole village really to clear the UPSC CSE. It feels like that, at least. So, what was the most challenging aspect of your time through this journey?
I think, sir, it is. I think I would sum up in terms of fear of missing out. You see a lot of people enjoying their life. You want to do that. You want to visit. You want to eat different kinds of food, but then you have to convince yourself to sit in a room for 12 hours every day to study. I think that's the biggest challenge. And I think there are two things that really helps you in this journey. The first is the hard work, and the second is the consistency. And I've repeatedly said to a lot of people that consistency matters more than hard work. Because if you're into UPSC, after a few days of crying, haggling, and everything, you will be able to work hard. Because you know that if you really are dedicated towards the goal, you will work hard. But consistency doesn't come very often. It means you have to do it regularly, consistently, persistently, and you don't have to take leaves. You don't want opportunities to get up from your room and to enjoy your day. You just want to study. And this was my approach. And I think the most challenging part of it is that sometimes you feel a little dejected, that you're using all your attempts, you're getting on the downside of your attempts. And to a question, I would say that my hairs on this side started, I started seeing one or two white hairs, so I was getting worried that I'm losing my hairs. So all these things, they begin to create problems in your journey. But if you are solely and actively dedicated towards your goals, I think these challenges, you will be able to overcome these challenges, and you will be able to get success at the end.
Sacrifices are well worth it at the end of the day, and there is no doubt about that. So, Yasharth, let's also talk about your personality test. How was that? And would you like to make a comparison between the last time and this time around?
Sir, personality test, I think the word is unpredictable. Last time I thought my personality test didn't go well and I was able to score 173. This time I thought it went really well. And the last member even complimented very good Yasharth. And I got 162 marks. But because I had really good marks in written, I was able to get a good rank. But the interview was professional. And I think an aspirant should not put too much hopes on the interview. You see, in for means we are writing 250 marks in 3 hours, and in the interview you're being judged for around 275 marks in half an hour. On that particular day your mind may not work, you're not getting good ideas, you're not feeling well, you're not the best of you, because we also have different versions of ourselves, and you're not feeling the best of you. So, and the kind of questions that are being asked of you, they may not be to your suiting. So a lot of things are there are a lot of variables in the entire interview process. So I would suggest everyone that focus on your mains, get a good marks in your mains, so that even if the interview goes a little haywire, you are able to get a good rank.
Absolutely. But that having been said, the interview is also extremely important, and those few marks that some people may miss out on, you can always recover in the interview as well. So it's important to keep that going too, because you never know at the end of the day what is in store for you and how things may pan out.
Actually, sir, you don't have to prepare like the syllabus. I think is the least for the interviews. I would say that you prepare your detailed analysis, detailed application form well. You attend a few mocks. This time I did not have much time. My interview was on the third day of the when the interview started, so I did not have much time on the 7th of April. So go for the mocks and analyze what you are being told as what you should improve in your way of speaking, or how you speak, or how you answer a question. But beyond, I think how you manage yourself during the entire course of the interview. A lot of people are able to get good ranks of the interview. You're right, sir. But again, from my personal experience, I'm a little wary about that. But anyway, I think a lot of people score very good marks in the interview, and so they may focus on it very well.
Absolutely. My point being, no opportunity should be missed out wherever you have a chance. It's like if your mains have not gone as expected, there's always a chance if you get through to make some kind of a recovery in the interview as well. So everything needs to be taken with the same amount of seriousness, so that you can have those three cracks really of getting your name on the list. Finally, before I let you go, Yasharth, any words of advice, anything that you would like to say to youngsters who would like to follow in your footsteps? What would you like to say to them?
I think, sir, the most important thing is that when you enter this journey, you will have to struggle. Not everyone gets there in the first attempt itself. So you don't have to feel dejected, and you don't have to stop working, and don't need to question your optional. But if you are solely focused on your goal, and you keep on doing your test regularly, you keep on revising your subjects properly, and you keep on doing tests for the prelims as well, I think success is just one door away. And it may seem that things are very difficult moment, but if you're able to survive that moment and you're able to pull yourself together just before the exams or just before you have to start preparation, you will be able to achieve success. Just 7 months back, sir, I did not want to get up the next morning when the results came. My parents somehow pushed me to the study table, and I was studying. And let's see, within 7 8 months, I'm able to get a good rank. So times when they change like there is no end to it. And for that, you have to work hard. You have to be consistent. You have to be persistent, and you do. And if you are doing all of that, you will be able to succeed eventually.
Lovely to hear that. What an amazing interaction with you, Yasharth. It's really a pleasure to have you on the program, and I know that you have a bright future ahead of you, which also means that there is added responsibility as well, the pressure of living up to so many expectations, because we know that you have a very stable head on your shoulders and you can do us all proud, and you can truly serve this nation, and this nation needs and deserves youngsters like you to take it forward if we have to realize our dreams of tomorrow. Yasharth, a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so very much.
It's a pleasure to talk to you as well, sir.
Wonderful. Well, that's it on this edition of Toppers Talk. Since you're here, please like the video, subscribe, and share the content as well, so that more people get to know about us. That's it from me. I leave you with a message. See you again next time.